Hello everyone and welcome to the air poll for the fifth litter of the Timberwood pack. That is of course Puma and Koji's pups, the first of which we have right here. There will be a poll to vote on which of these pups from the fifth litter here you want to see advance to being a semi-finalist, and then eventually we will be voting on between those semi-finalists which ones you want to see be the actual heir. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of Puma's pups, the first of which we have right here. So this is Petrichor, and he actually has the small dot coat from the Cool Coats pack. That is one of the Yellowstone Wolves coats. We have, of course, the Founders Hall of Fame and Cool Coats from that pack. And it's very, very pretty coat. It is, of course, a black coat. All of Puma's pups have one black coat gene and one gray coat gene because Puma had two black coat genes and Koji had two gray coat genes. So all the pups are going to have one black coat gene and one gray coat gene, which is good for their disease resistance, which they have needed because the sickness in the last few litters got pretty rough. And it was not an easy time to deal with, but fortunately Petrichor is one of the survivors, and you can see he got not only this really pretty black and white coat, but also these very, very bright yellow eyes. They do stand out quite a lot. We'll also go ahead and we'll listen to his howls here. Oh, that's a bit of a higher pitched one, and then for his secondary, and a deeper one there, so he's got quite a bit of range as well. Now, he doesn't have any of the customizations here. He did not get the radio collar, but if you guys want the chance to suggest some ideas, if you think maybe he got in a fight, got a torn or notched ear, or maybe he's got a little bit of mange, he's got that mange tail happening, or just a different size neck ruff, whatever you guys think, you have the chance to submit those as ideas if you're either a member of the Patreon or if you're in the Discord supporter server, which is open to members of the Patreon and to Twitch subs and to YouTube channel memberships, those of you who have YouTube channel memberships, provided you guys are over the age of 13. So with that, if you guys want to suggest ideas and you're a member of one of those, you are welcome to do so. Although there's no guarantee they'll be added, there's a chance that I will look at some of them and go, oh, that's pretty cool, and make it canon. So yeah, if you guys want to do that, you can check that out. But also for Petrichor's stats here, you can see he has 0 strength and stamina modifiers, +1 speed, and -1 health. A lot of the +1 or -1s to health recently. We had a lot of -2s starting off and a lot of -1s now, so that's pretty interesting. Of course, too, he was formerly Timberwood 18M, and we'll have to see what the next pack ends up being called. That will be left up to you guys in the Twitch streams, as of course will be which wolf we end up following in the first place. But that is Petrichor. Next up we have Periwinkle, and here she is. She has the half black coat here from Cool Coats, another one of the Yellowstone wolf coats. These are all very nice looking ones, by the way. I know I compliment the coats constantly, but they're so good. I love them. And this is, of course, one of the black coats, even though it's a little bit of a deceptively gray looking one. They know that because they did gene test all the wolves that these coats belong to, or at least most of them. I know a lot of these deceptive light colored ones they did find out are actually black coats through that gene testing. Periwinkle also has these darker kind of bronzy brown eyes, a lot like Koji. She kind of took after him on that, I think. And we can also go ahead and listen to her howls. That's a bit of a higher pitched one. And then for her secondary here, ooh, and that one's a little bit lower, so she's also got some range. No customizations here, though, of course, if you are a member of that Discord supporter server or my Patreon, you have the chance to suggest ideas for those there. As for her stats, she got +2 to strength, -1 to stamina, and -1 to health, but a neutral speed modifier. And she was the 10F member of the Timberwood pack. That is Periwinkle, and next up we have Kasa, and Kasa actually has an NPC coat. You can see that it's nowhere listed here. It is actually the same coat that Puma has, and so he very much took after his mom in that regard. He does also have these very yellowy colored eyes. They're very, very bright, and they really stand out from his fur here. Also, the coat is technically called the 911 Gray Mix, at least according to the Wolf Quest wiki. So we'll go ahead, we'll also listen to his howls. Ooh, that's a bit of a deeper one. And then for secondary, and that's a much higher one. Once again, a wolf with quite a bit of range. Again, no customizations here, but if you are a member of the supporter Discord server or my Patreon, you'll have the chance to suggest your ideas for any potential customizations there. As for stats, he has +1 to his strength, +1 to his stamina, and we're back to -2 for the health. So not the most healthful wolf, but he is quite strong, and he's got a pretty good amount of endurance as well. He was also the 19M member of the Timberwood Pack, and he was a bit of a wanderer. He caused some problems. Of course, if you guys want to see more about these wolves, don't forget to check the description for a link to a quick reference, which has some stats and other info about the wolves, such as anything we observed about them during their stories. But that is Kasa. Next up we have Bonsai, and he is quite a pretty wolf. You can see he has the 831F cool coats here. He also did get a radio collar, as we'll take more of a look at later. This is a very nice coat too. It's got some of the kind of reddish tint to it, but also a lot of white mixed in. It's just really pretty, and his eyes stand out again. Like, I am such a sucker for light colored eyes against a darker coat. It just stands out so strikingly. It's so pretty. But let's go ahead, we'll listen to his howls. Ooh, that's a real deep one. And then his secondary. Also a fairly deep one, kind of mid-range, but fairly deep. Now, he doesn't roll anything here. Most of these don't roll, at least at the time of making this video, but the radio collar does. It can toggle on and off, and he did actually get that. But if you guys are thinking of any other customizations you could see that you would want him to have potentially, and you have an idea for the story behind it, maybe something happened to him in the time from when he was a pup to when he became an adult, then you can suggest those ideas either on the Patreon or in the supporter Discord if you're a member of either of those. As for his stats, he has +1 strength and -1 speed, and actually neutral health, which is pretty rare. It's one of the strongest. He has one of the strongest or one of the highest health values that we've seen, because most of our wolves have at least 1 negative. So he's got a little bit more health than some of the others. And he was, of course, the 20M member of the Timberwood Pack. But that is Bonsai. And finally, last but not least for this litter, we have Cicada. And Cicada has the 859M coat from the Lamar Canyon pack here. You can see that is one of the classic coats from 2.7. And she also has these kind of mid-tone eyes. They're a little bit greeny. They're also yellow, and they're also not super saturated. They're a little bit darker than most of our wolves. But let's also go ahead. We'll listen to her howls. Oh, she also got that really deep one. And then for her secondary. Oh, that's a much higher pitched one. Now, she didn't roll the radio collar or anything, but as always, if you guys have ideas for that and you're a member of either my Patreon or the supporter Discord, you are welcome to put those ideas there and have a chance of having them incorporated into the final canon design for our wolves. But as for her stats, she has +1 strength and -1 health, so not quite as healthful as Bonsai, but not the lowest we've seen either. We have quite a few -2s between the different litters as well. And of course, she was the 12th member of the Timberwood Pack, and she kind of had a story as well. She actually had a bit of a brush with starvation when things got a little bit tight. We couldn't find enough food, but Puma was able to bring back enough food for her in time, and she did recover. So that is Cicada. That is the last wolf from this litter, and of course, as always, make sure to check out the description, both for a link to the poll so you can vote for which one of these wolves you want to see carry on the legacy potentially when we go back to our streaming, and also so that you can view a quick reference. There's some info about wolves. There's a few additional notes about, you know, what happened to each of them, what happened in their stories, what we observed, as well as a quick reference for their stats, their coats, stuff like that. So if you want to have easy access to that, then you should be able to see that there. But we are going to go ahead and end this off here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to drop a follow at JZX535 on Twitch so that you can see when we're going to be going live. Remember, we'll hopefully be back in July. And if you want to see when that's going to happen, make sure you're keeping an eye out both there and on the community tab on this channel so that you can see what's going to be happening. But I will see you guys next time. And until then, this is Jay. Over and out.